Today on this Wednesday edition of Studio G, Justin Fuller looks inside an activity club on campus, and Bree Bradley investigates a sport that is having a run with the law.
We have a special story and guest in the studio today who has touched lives and has been in the media spotlight as a young child to a present-day adult.
But you have to keep on watching to find out who this person is and to hear the story. So don't touch that mouse and don't leave that screen. Studios G starts right now. Good afternoon and welcome to Studio G. I'm Eddie Vargas.
And I'm Alexis Mers. Yesterday, the world acknowledged the death of Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez. Chavez was battling cancer for the past few years. He was last seen publicly in December. Chavez was president of Venezuela from 1998 to 2013. Towards the end of his first year in power, Venezuelans voted in favor of a referendum for a new constitution, proposed by Chavez. 7 months later, he was re-elected to the presidency for 6 years, term under the new constitution. He was 58 years old. At 44 years old, Chavez was elected as the youngest president in Venezuelan history. Venezuela's government has declared 7 days of national mourning. His funeral will be held this Friday.
With the recent resignation of the Pope, Cardinals are working on electing a new Pope. After Pope Benedict XVI announced he was leaving the papacy, becoming the first Pope to resign from the position in 600 years, more than 140 Catholic cardinals met at the Vatican to discuss the process of selecting a new Pope. On Monday, cardinals met twice a day to set a date for the conclave to select Pope Benedict's successor, but no decision has been reached yet.
Concern was actually to get to know what we have to do in order to prepare ourselves for the conclave. In other words, the discussions that have to take place beforehand. Obviously, there are going to be questions about the situations in the different parts of the world, how the church is responding to those, and so forth.
Typically, the College of Cardinals is not allowed to begin selecting a new pope until 15 to 20 days after the papacy becomes vacant. However, in an attempt to get a successor into position as quickly as possible, Pope Benedict XVI amended the 500-year-old policy. This amendment would allow a new pope to be selected as early as March 15th. UNLV student Kyle Mifford from the Catholic Newman Center gave some more insight on the candidates for pope.
I think the interesting thing about most of these candidates is most of them don't actually want to be the pope, and it's kind of a saying that, he who seeks the papacy won't find it. And it's kind of interesting because most of these men, they don't want that. It's a lot of work and whatnot. But if any one of them were chosen to be the pope by conclave, I know they would accept it.
We will continue to bring you updates on the election of this new pope as the information becomes available.
While police presence has always provided a feeling of security, one upcoming sport is struggling for its freedom from police scrutiny. Reporter Bree Bradley has more on this story.
I just think that there's a lot of people involved in creating laws and rules that don't understand people like me.
Las Vegas native Chris Higdon has been competing in street bike stunt competitions for 4 years. Chris is currently the 13th best stunt bike rider in the nation. Now a rider for multiple big-name sponsors in the pro class, Chris is in search to add yet another championship to his name. There's only one thing that stands in his way, however, a location to practice without being stopped by the police.
I've been stopped countless times, probably 4 or 5 times a week at some points.
Stunt bike competitors are finding it more difficult to find areas in which they can practice. Empty and abandoned parking lots, such as this one, are becoming occupied once again around the valley, and brick walls are keeping riders like Chris on the outside.
Most of the time, the police are called because someone is complaining about noise, or they're complaining that they're scared to drive past us. We're gonna come flying off the parking lot and crash into the street and kill people or something.
Lieutenant Jeff Green of the UNLV Police Department says it's not so much the sound ordinance or onlookers' fear as it is the safety for the riders.
The first priority, laws and ordinances that they're breaking, but I'm also fairly sure that the officers will be concerned about the bike riders' safety.
Whether this is a concern of moving violations and safety or just a preconceived judgment of the up-and-coming sport, both parties agree that this way of riding a street bike isn't going anywhere and hopefully can come to an agreement between both athlete and authority.
It is not a trend. I think it's going to be around for a while.
Eventually one day the sport may grow enough to have a location where, you come, sign a waiver, pay $10 and ride all day, be legitimately not illegal.
For Studio G, I'm Bree Bradley.
We're now going to send it over to Brenda Gomez with your entertainment news.
Hello everyone, I'm Brenda Gomez. Welcome to Did You Hear? Today I will be sharing some good and sad news in the world of entertainment. We begin with the real-life experience that occurred to the cast of Modern Family. Some of the cast members of Modern Family were trapped in an elevator, and no, this was not a scene from their sitcom. According to ABC News, Julie Bowen, Eric Stonestreet, and Jesse Tyler Ferguson were trapped for nearly an hour amongst other people inside a hotel elevator in Kansas City, Missouri, prior to making an appearance at a fundraiser. The actors, along with 15 other people who were trapped, were rescued by the Kansas City Fire Department. Though they were trapped, they did manage to have some fun while making a video where the three actors stated, "Get us out, get us out.
Get us out.
Get us out."
Barbara Walters returned to The View after being off the air for 6 weeks. She was gone due to the chickenpox as well as recovering from a concussion she suffered in January after she felt the British ambassador's home. Walters stated that she had felt lightheaded and fainted.
Walking down the stairs, I suddenly felt a little woozy and I fainted. And I hit my head on the marble floor.
Walters also showed off her scar and joked that while she was recovering at home, she would watch The View and yell at her TV screen. For the first time ever, America's Got Talent will have 4 judges. Project Runway's host and executive producer Heidi Klum will leave the fashion to see what America has in store. She will be joining previous judges Howie Mandel and Howard Stern. Mel B of the Spice Girls will also be a judge. The 8th season is set to start in May. For all you Dexter fans, start preparing to say your goodbyes. The 8th season of Dexter will be the last and final season for this show. CBS President Les Moonves announced that the final season will start in June. But that is not a surprise because according to Entertainment Weekly, back in 2011, CBS President Les Moonves had announced that the show would soon come to an end. He stated that the cast was well aware that the season 7 or 8 would be the end of the serial killer drama. Stay tuned for the final season this upcoming June 30th. We close with some good news. Make sure to get ready for the after party. For many of us, the pop star takes us back to our childhood. Does I Want Candy ring a bell? If you guessed Aaron Carter, you are correct. After taking a break for the past 11 years, the 25-year-old is ready to continue to party. Carter's The After Party Tour began last month. He'll be making his way to Las Vegas April 3rd at the Hard Rock Cafe on the Strip. The tour is set to end June 1st. That is all I have for you. Did you hear? Stay tuned for next week. Now let's take it back to the desk for more news.
When we come back, Austin Ennie will have your weather and Justin Fuller will take us inside a club here on campus.
And later on, we'll have our special guest, so keep watching. Studio D will be right back.
Welcome to the Art Department at UNLV, where students can express their creative side. You can also check out the current exhibits at the Grant Hall Gallery, Jesse Metcalf Gallery, and Donna Beam Gallery of Fine Art, featuring recent artwork displays by students, staff, and local artists. Whether your forte is taking photos, painting a picture, or carving a sculpture, make sure to check out the UNLV Art Department located in the Alta Ham Fine Arts Building.
It's convenience. It saves me a lot of money because I'm on a meal plan basically, and it saves me time because I don't have to walk across the street. It saves me gas because I don't have to drive anywhere to eat, and especially being a lazy college student, I can just walk right over here when I'm hungry and not have to wait that much longer to get food.
Hello
Hello and welcome back from the break. I'm Austin Indy with your weather forecast. Let's take a look at what Mother Nature has in store for us today. A beautiful 68 degrees outside. Winds a little bit stronger than expected, 26 miles an hour. We'll talk a little bit more about our cool down coming up in the 7-day outlook. If we take a look at the almanac, 68 degrees. We're right at our average, which is pretty darn impressive because last week this time we were about 12 degrees below. Should stay in the 60s and be beautiful. More on that, like I said, in the 7-day. If you take a look at temperatures around the Las Vegas Valley and the state of Nevada itself, Lake Tahoe 28 degrees and snow. It is chilly up there right now, but everything down in the south, beautiful. Mercury 63, Nellis Air Force Base 69. Down south, the temperatures are wonderful. If we take a look at the national satellite radar now, the only thing to keep our eye on is Winter Storm Saturn. Absolutely devastating the East Coast. Not that bad. It won't be as bad as expected. Boston's supposed to get 8 to 12 inches of snow. Places like New York, 3 to 5 inches. Other than that, West Coast getting a little bit of rain up by Seattle, but shouldn't be that big of a problem. Temperature-wise, 41 degrees in New York, 35 in Augusta, Raleigh at 46. But on the West Coast, Sacramento 55, Los Angeles 60, and Phoenix a beautiful 79 degrees. Take a look at our 7-day forecast. Well, 64 degrees tomorrow. And then, oh my goodness, what is that on Friday? Oh wait, that's just rain. Sometimes that happens down here. 50% chance of showers on Friday, and after that, a gradual warm up into the 70s. Once again, it should be beautiful after Friday. Well, that's all the weather I have for you today. Now we'll send it back to the desk with Alexis.
Yesterday, reporter Carl Winder shared what the UNLV Transit Center is and how it will affect parking between the architecture and Greenspun building. Today, he investigates what the future holds for the new multimodal center.
And the Regional Transportation Commission are set for construction on the UNLV Transit Center on March 11th. According to RTC General Manager Tina Quigley, the neighborhoods around UNLV are in full support.
I've actually been very lucky in that the community has embraced the project. Students, employees, visitors, anybody who chooses to take an alternative mode of transportation will enjoy this facility.
Parking and Transportation Director Tad McDowell said UNLV has over 12,000 parking spots, which is enough to accommodate everybody with a parking pass. He went on to say,
everything that we do in relation to these projects, we do it with as much fairness such as possible for our students and our staff and faculty as well, but those are student spaces primarily that have been impacted over there. We just want to be as fair as possible.
For students who park in the U, H, and F lot, they believe the UNLV officials and Board of Regents who approved the transit center have lost touch with the students.
You drive around for 45 minutes and try to find a parking spot. I come to school an hour to 2 hours early just to find parking.
I'd tell them it was a bad idea. I mean, ultimately it's up to them, but it's from a student standpoint, it's really not enjoyable.
Executive Director of Planning and Construction David Fromer said the end goal for the UNLV Transit Center is this.
Major improvement we're working with on RTC to see if it's feasible and can be supported in the future is potentially a transit-only cross-campus route.
Now UNLV and RTC officials hope that over the next 5 years that 25% of the students can trade in their vehicles for bus rides. That will prove that the UNLV master plan was a success. But they know that students aren't ready to trade in their car seats for bus seats.
Parking is going to be a concern, and we expect increasingly people are going to be interested in taking transit.
For Bomani, he said transit may not be the fastest or most comfortable, but it is the future.
Daughter came to campus a few summers ago and she used the bus. Was it convenient and quick? No. And did she have to take a couple different buses? Yes. I think future phases of this project will really benefit our students, faculty, and staff.
Reporting for Studio G, I am Carl Winder.
UNLV officials say the transit center is set to be completed by fall 2013.
Last night, the city of Henderson got its first homicide of the year. Henderson police are investigating an apparent murder-suicide at a home near Horizon Ridge in Arroyo Grande. Police say a man showed up at the home of his ex-wife, got in an argument, and shot her to death. He then walked out of his home and shot himself. Both the victims have children. They have been taken into protective custody.
Yesterday, Clark County School District Superintendent Dwight D. Jones announced he is stepping down from his position. He cited his reason for stepping down is due to a family illness and to spend time caring for his mother. From a release by the school district, Jones will officially step down on Friday, March 22nd. And while the school board of trustees will look for a new superintendent, a deputy superintendent will serve.
Reporter Justin Fuller checked out a club on campus for students to play their favorite games together.
UNLV is filled with many clubs on campus, and the UNLV Game Club couldn't be more animated, literally. This club allows members to play their favorite games from the classic Sega Genesis to today's Xbox 360, as well as play various card and board games. Some of the members' favorites includes
Halo, Fins 1, 2, 3, ODST, and Reach.
Mass Effect, Dragon Age,
Call of Duty.
Wacky games like Mario Party, or for a card game, Munchkin.
A little bit of Skyrim.
Oh yeah, I love Rock Band, I love just about anything you can put in front of me.
Members also get more out of the club than trying to reach the final level.
We are a very casual but very friendly environment style organization.
I was like meeting new people, opportunity to meet different people at different aspects.
This semester will also be the first to have the Game Club Challenge contest that allows the officers to get the members and newcomers more involved.
We all came up with our own challenges for all paid members to try to complete. It can vary from like writing a paper to beating us at a specific game or accomplishing something that even we wouldn't expect. We're just trying to encourage people to try out a bit more that might be out of their comfort zone or just things they love to do, to try to get them to do more stuff and get more involved with the organization.
Members are provided with checkpoints for completing tasks that eventually leads to prizes. Some members also have goals.
I hope to be like the top Halo player or something. Attend most of my classes.
Try to really just expand Game Club out, get it known around campus and more people to join and everything.
Overall, the Game Club wants members to have a good experience.
You'll have a very fun time here.
For Studio G, I'm Justin Fuller.
The Game Club meets every Friday from 4 p.m. till 8 p.m. in the game room at the Student Union. For more information, connect with the team on Facebook. So have you ever been there?
I have not, but I think we should check it out after the show.
Yeah, we should. We should check it out. You can use your Zumba moves on the Dance Revolution.
Sounds like a plan.
Now we're going to send it over to Allison Whitley for your Wednesday sports.
Good day, Rebels. I'm Allison Whitley, and welcome back to another edition of Whitley's Wednesday Sports Spotlight. Let's kick off our sports fun with a game I hope no Rebel missed. The UNLV boys basketball team came out triumphant against the Boise State Broncos last night at the Thomas & Mack. The game was a heart-racing battle for both teams all the way up to the last minute. With the score bouncing between the Rebels being ahead to the Broncos, UNLV pulled out the win of 66-61 in the last 16 seconds of the game. Anthony Marshall and Bryce Dijon Jones led UNLV to a win, both scoring 16 points apiece. Caton Reinhardt and Anthony Bennett also helped secure the win for the Rebels, scoring 11 points each. Hopefully the win will be the motivation the Rebels need to win this Saturday against Fresno State. UNLV was not the only knockout game in college basketball last night, and I mean literally. In the St. John versus number 24 Notre Dame game, sophomore Sir Dominic Pointer threw a punch at Notre Dame forward Cameron Feinhard with only a minute and 46 seconds left on the clock. Notre Dame head coach Mike Bray comments on the brawl. Now moving from college basketball to the NBA, the Los Angeles Lakers lost to the Oklahoma City Thunder last night with a score of 121-105. Kobe Bryant scored 30 points throughout the game despite an elbow injury that did not stop the Thunder from putting points on the board. The Thunder had only 2 turnovers at the end of the game, tying the NBA record for fewest turnovers in a single game. Going from NBA to the NHL, the Chicago Blackhawks won their 10th consecutive victory and extended their point streak to 29 games. The game out on top with a 5-3 win against Minnesota last night. This victory sets a new record for the most wins in a shortened NHL season. Rounding up this sports spotlight back at home, the men's Rebel golf team will be participating this weekend at the Southern Highlands Collegiate Masters. The team will be competing against 9 of the top 10 ranked teams in the nation. The Masters will be held on the Southern Highlands Golf Club in Las Vegas from Friday to Sunday. Admission is free and public is encouraged to come out and support your Rebels. Finally, tonight on Rebel Basketball, girls will take on Boise State on the road at 6 o'clock. Our ladies hope to keep their 4th place spot. And tomorrow, look out for our men's tennis team who will be competing against Ball State here at home. Good luck to both of our Rebel teams. Unfortunately, it is that time again. This has been Allison Whitley with your Wednesday Sports Spotlight. Join me next Wednesday to find out the updated news in your sports world. Now, we're going to send it back to the desk with Alexis.
We told you that if you keep watching, you would see our special guest we have today.
Well, that time has come, and we are going to have her and her story when you come right back.
Where is the moment we needed the most? You kick up the leaves and the magic is lost. Tell me your blue skies fade to gray. Tell me your passion's gone away, and I don't need no carrying on. You stand in the line just to hit a new low. You're faking a smile with the coffee to go. And tell me your life's been way offline. You fall into pieces every time, and I don't need no carrying on, 'cause you had a bad day.
The special guest we have today was born with a deadly disease that has a great impact on society, both as an illness and a source of discrimination. It's the same impact that makes her who she is and what she advocates. Take a look.
Hi, my name is Heidi B. I am 29 and I have AIDS. I was actually born with HIV. My birth mother was an IV drug user who infected herself and passed it on through me, and I was diagnosed at the age of 3.
It's not my fault that I have AIDS because it was my birth mom's fault because she was doing drugs and stuff.
They said I wouldn't live past the age of 5. Back then, there was no medication available for women or children, and people were dying at an alarming rate. This was my life, and since I could remember, I was going to the hospital and taking medicine. So for me growing up, I didn't know anything was different until I started school. I was in kindergarten, and a teacher sprayed me with bleach because I sneezed and mucus came out, and so she was afraid that the virus was airborne, which it wasn't.
Growing up with AIDS was not easy, and Heidi decided to speak up about it.
Well, I started speaking at the age of 6, and when I was younger, I really didn't understand the responsibility. I was just speaking to correct what was right, speaking up for those who didn't have a voice. And I really didn't know that I wanted to do this until I was in my early 20s.
Heidi made numerous TV appearances starting at a very young age. She was featured on shows such as Oprah, 2020, Nick News, and Good Morning America.
When I first started doing TV shows, a lot of people, they did recognize me because I was one of the first youth. I came after Ryan White, so I was the first African-American youth to speak out. There was a lot of recognition from a conversation with Magic, because when Magic Johnson came out, it was like America was shocked.
I want people to know that we're just normal people.
Oh, you don't have to cry. You don't have to cry. Because we are normal people.
I have to use my life as a warning for others, so kids know what it's really like to have AIDS. To know that yes, there are pills that you can take once a day, but that's not all that goes into it. There's blood work, there's doctor visits, there's fighting for medical care. If I can use my life as a warning for others not to go through it, then that's what I was put here to do. This was something I really wanted to dedicate my life to, because it was so many young people that were contracting the virus at an alarming rate. And I was like, this is preventable. Why are people contracting this? And that's when I decided to dedicate all my time and energy to it.
And here she is, Heidi Broadbent, internationally known HIV activist. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Alrighty, so for those who don't know what an activist is, can you let us know about your job?
Well, basically, I go out and I do presentations whether in middle schools, high schools, or universities, conferences. We go out and we educate people on prevention and awareness, and also we do health education for individuals who are living with HIV/AIDS.
Okay, and you said you got an early start when you were about 6 years old. How was that?
Well, it was an accident. My parents allowed me to be outspoken. They wanted me to know that AIDS was something that happened to me, but did not define who I was. So I never kept it a secret, because when you keep it a secret, that's when it turns into something that's ugly or nasty. And so I was allowed to speak about it. And it was just, I was very outspoken, so it was really an accident. I started speaking at conferences and with social workers, and it kind of took a life of its own on.
That's pretty funny. Now, we noticed that you talked to Magic Johnson. Are you guys still in contact today?
Yes, me and Magic see each other quite often. I do a lot of work with his foundation, the Magic Johnson Foundation, which provides information and education on HIV/AIDS.
Wow, that's pretty exciting. So he's a really good role model.
Yes, he is.
And who would you say you look up to besides Magic Johnson?
I think a lot of people that I look up to are people that I know personally in my life, because everyone that I know has a different characteristic that I would try to, I think they're all special in their own ways, so I always pick people that are close to me, not always celebrities, because sometimes what you see with celebrities isn't what you get. So I have people in my family and my community that I look up to.
Understandable. All right, so what are you doing today? Like now, in 2013, what's up?
Well, right now we're doing a lot of work with women and girls. March 10th is National HIV/AIDS Awareness Day. Women and girls, women and young girls have a high rate of new HIV infection. Wow. So that's on March 10th, which is Sunday. So I'll actually be going to Alabama and then Oakland for a couple events. I'll actually be here tomorrow on campus for an event, which I don't know the name. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. But right now, we're just doing a lot of prevention and awareness, making sure people know their status. HIV/AIDS is not the death sentence that it once was, but it is a life sentence. And once you are in treatment, you can get the disease under control. And a person who is on their medicine has less than a 3% chance of passing the virus on. Wow. So we're trying to really push people to get tested and to know their status.
Now, you mentioned you're going to be here tomorrow.
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
Well, it's a panel. It's for National Women and Girls HIV/AIDS Awareness Day. It's about 7 o'clock. There's a reception at 6:30. I don't know which room or building, but I know it is tomorrow, so please forgive me.
I'm sure we can figure it out.
Okay.
All right. So what do you think about the little girl who was cured of HIV recently?
I think that was remarkable. She was actually kind of cured on accident. Because what they do is when a woman gets pregnant, they give her medicine to kind of, so the virus isn't active and won't be passed on to her child. And so you take the medication, and then they give the medication after the child is born to suppress the virus. So if a person is HIV positive, she can have a child without passing the virus on. But what happened was this mother wasn't on pills. And so they gave the baby a larger dose. And so she tested positive and then went negative. So now we're going to have more studies to see if what actually happened. So it's a miracle, and it's a one-of-a-kind thing that hasn't happened before.
Well, it looks like we have time for one more question. Oh, actually, alrighty. So we're going to take it back to the desk. Thank you so much.
That's all the news we have for today. Thank you for watching. I'm Eddie Vargas. Be sure to follow us on Twitter page and send us any story ideas. Have a great day, Las Vegas, and tune in tomorrow for Studio G.
Sometimes late when things are real and people share the gift of